All right. So we should be live, although with a little bit of delay, which I guess is fine. There we are. Perfect. All right, now I can monitor this, and yeah, okay, so the video is a little odd, but yeah, whatever. So let me get out of that preview and come back into this guy so that I can track what I'm doing. So I will need to be able to see what I'm doing here. Excuse me. So, it's been a long time. I could probably go back on YouTube here and take a look. In fact, let me go ahead and do that real quick and see when my last video is uploaded. Well, last, I guess, meaningful video was uploaded. Wowza. 7 months ago? Are you kidding me? Geez, is it written? No, it couldn't have been that long. Test stream for print. Okay, so yeah, 7 months ago. Wow. I am... So sorry. You never got to buying the Switch mod. Well, sorry. That's all right. In fact, I have more of them on the build plate that need to come off. In fact, this is from TH3D. Just a little sidebar here. Yeah. I love this flex plate. Totally clean. That's how it's supposed to be. And there's the TH3D Easy Flex. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's that's how that's done. Put this back on here. Perfect. I don't need to do anything else with them today. But I do want to go over. You know what? Give me just a second. To do keyframe frequency. Really? This is going to complain about a keyframe frequency? Let me look at what I've got going here. Give me just a second. I might have to redo this. It's being stupid. Okay, video. That's good. Output. Recording audio. Yeah. And zeros for auto. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it. Clean, that's cool. Yes, I am back. I'm more than sorry for the absence. So the pandemic started in March, and before that, I'd had a bit of a rough time. I was in my second quarter at Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics. It's been fairly rough, I would say, but I am getting back into things. So once the pandemic hit, they kept trying to push school back for another week. Then we'll see what happens. We'll reopen. Nah, didn't work. Push it another week. Try again. And so they did that like 3 times, and then they said, you know what, we're done. We're gonna come back. We're just gonna wipe out the rest of this quarter and rewrite the rest of the 2020 calendar, and then starting in 2021, we will be back on schedule. So months later, here I am finally. I have now had 1 week of school to finish. I had a week and a half left to finish second quarter when the pandemic hit. I was a week and a half away from finishing second quarter. Just now finished the first week, and I have 2 days, well, a day and a half technically, of classes left to finish what would have been second quarter that would have ended at the end of March. Go figure. That's that's my life. And I've had projects to do, believe it or not. Um, I've had so much going on. I haven't been around. I did not take all of my computer equipment with me. So I live in technically it's West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. It's not Pittsburgh. It's a little South Pittsburgh. So 3.5 hours away over to Columbus, Ohio, to where my girlfriend is staying. I took quite a bit of stuff. I took my printers and some other things, but I didn't take all of my streaming equipment and everything else. That I didn't figure it would take that long. I didn't know, and I wasn't going to make the trip back. It really wasn't all that worth it. Yeah, most things did get pushed back. A lot of things got pushed back, including my graduation date. Would have been I would have graduated in June 2021. It is now going to be September 2021 unless stuff gets pushed back again. So, yeah, that's what I have to look forward to. So I can give you an update on a couple different things here. Let me unplug my phone from the computer. So I have my phone charging. My tablet's got 64% on it. Oh, I still have sound going on my computer. I can turn that off. Okay, because I'm going to grab this over here to show you one of the new goodies that I got right here. Let me grab... I keep remembering where I put everything here. Let me grab a USB cable, plug in the computer, and I will show you what is coming next. So I will say a little bit early that I may have a deal with RatRig. We will see how that turns out. To be doing reviews and some sponsored videos and things will be my first sponsor for the channel, unless somebody else comes and picks me up first. I've been using RatRig for a while now, about a year, I think. This whole ANET A8 over here, that entire frame is RatRig, based in Lisbon, Portugal. And they have some amazing stuff. I like their extrusions much better. They have like rounded corners on them, some of the ones you find on most printers like Creality and Anycubic or whatever. They all have like the much more square corners and edges on them, which is harder on the hands. I don't like that as much. RatRigs are rounded. I think they're like either one or two diameter or radius curves. But either way. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in, and I'll show you what my goodie is. So we're going to start with, oh, it came out of the socket. What? Looks like I need to wire that. Yeah, that's never going to work for the final product. All right, so here, sorry, I don't have real good lighting here. I still need to set up my desk, but this is an SKR 1.4 Turbo, and this is the TFT 35 E3 3.0. So this is the dual mode touchscreen Marlin mode display, and this is my setup, which needs to be plugged into USB. I have the jumper on here for that, but I've been doing the testing and the firmware updates on it to make sure it works, and I figured out a couple things along the way. I probably won't make videos on them. If I can remember the guy's name, top of my head. Another guy does a really good job of explaining how to set these up if you have questions. So we're going to plug it in. I'll show you here. Sorry, I've still got the plastic on it because I'm trying to protect the screen as long as I can. And what does that say? Fade height off. Okay, so let's see if I can get this close enough that maybe the... Oh, because this... Yeah, see, this camera is going to be weird about it, but I'll give you the gist here. You can kind of see it for the stupid reflections. So everything here does work. Menu, settings, feature lists. Oh, there we go. That seemed to work pretty well. Everything in here works really well. And we have, if you hold the button down here, you get a choice between Marlin mode and touch mode. So we were in touch mode. We're going to go into Marlin mode. And it stays blank, which is I think, a bug, but you have to move the dial. Now, this is technically an emulator, so I have this blown up to take up full screen. And you can change the background color, the text color, all that fun stuff. Hey, Rodrigo, I'm sorry, I just now saw your message over here. I have, I'm looking at everything on my Google Pixel C over here on the side, so I can monitor chat. Sorry about that, bud. But yes, I am hopefully back. So yes, and TMC connection error because I have no stepper drivers installed here. But right off the bat, I'm actually relatively pleased with this. I will say that the only issue I have with this touchscreen is it's not so much the functionality, it's the viewing angle. And you're not really going to be able to see this clearly on video here. But if I were to look at it straight on, it's not as clean. You actually kind of have to look at it like at a bit of an angle like this, like maybe a 10-degree angle or something, and then it becomes clear. But if you're looking at it straight on, it's like it has an odd depth to it. It's weird. And then if you obviously look at it from the other angle, from more to the other side, it gets worse. I get that. That's just the way the layers work, but, you know, it kind of bugs me. And the other thing, I'll contact them, but some of my LEDs around the knob are not correct. They either don't light up correctly or the wrong color or something. But whatever. We'll figure that out at the time. But this is going to be my main board and display for my upcoming AM8 V2. So I have a second one. Once I get this out of my way and safely over in the corner. Stay. So I have, let me grab this over here. I procured another ANET A8 from someone. It was on a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I was in Columbus, Ohio, was selling his ANET A8. It was in pretty rough shape. I'm not going to say who it was, but it doesn't really look like he quite had a handle on what he was doing. It's okay. It worked. It was really bad shape, but it worked. So I went ahead and I pulled off the main board, and I am resoldering the SMD stepper driver ICs. Why would I be doing that with a board that works just fine? Yeah, that's a funny one, because I'm putting on A5985s. They are drop-in replacements for the A4988. And to give you an idea, let me grab one off a shelf here. I don't know if this is going to be able to focus or not. No? Yes? No? Yeah, whatever. But either way, this tiny little thing, which I want to say is a 1/4 inch, super small, very hard to solder, by the way. Yeah, it was right on, 1/4 inch. Is this the 5985? Yes, that's the 5985. These little guys, seeing as they're drop-in replacements and they're labeled as such from Allegro, can literally be dropped in place of the A4988s, and they do work. Now they have, among some other technical benefits, one of them is that the A4988s only go up to 1/16 microstepping. The 5985s go up to 1/32 microstepping. They have a lower power profile. They have all the same features. They have better power fade, some other technical side improvements. But they're exactly the same QFN package. They're the same solder pad mounting style and everything. So I got solder paste, and I'm using my reflow station over here to pull off the old ICs and replace them with the A4988s. The X-axis works perfectly. The Y, Z, and E, I noticed that I did them wrong. They're a little bit shifted. Um, I don't know how it happened, but I know how to fix it, so that's why those weren't working. But I don't know if anyone's ever attempted this or knew that you could, but the A5985s you can buy, and if you know how to solder them on, put them in place of your 4988s. And they're supposed to be a little quieter, which is a 30-second microstepping benefit to a point. They're not going to be anything like a TMC, and you cannot drop in a TMC. They don't work the same. But it's nice to know it does work, and if it's a benefit, I will do a video on it and post it on the channel, and I'll compare my stock 1.5 board, I think, that's in the in my machine over here. I still don't have. I'm still using the stock ANET board. It works just fine. And this is an unknown. May even be a 1.0. Hell, I'm not even sure. Like there's no version marking on this one. Oh, and this one also was missing the J3 LCD header. This one right here was missing when I got the printer from the guy. So I just took another one. I soldered it on, and I had to use that in order. I had to solder on the connector in order to be able to flash the bootloader, so I could flash firmware. Yeah, lots of fun. Feel free to ask any questions you want, by the way. It is 1:17 in the morning here. So, I mean, I'll be up for a little while. I don't have anything to do tomorrow, really. Let's see. So, what else am I going to do? Yes. Some of you guys might remember. Hey, look, there's my stream. Might remember this guy. This is the core. This was my Raspberry Pi 3B Plus powered desktop PC. And I've had to, well, basically the coolant in this has gone dead. It has stained the hosing and everything that's in here. I've got some reboot from Prima Chill that I'm going to run through that for about 3 or 4 days, clean out everything I can, and then I'm mostly because it's show. I think I might go for a view or something, something where you can see the liquid moving inside. Just to kind of give it a different feel. I've had UV green in there ever since I put it together. And I have a fairly large bottle of this that's maybe a little less than half full. Thing is, it expired November 1st, 2019. I might use it for something cheaper, but what I really want to do is I want to reprint that box. I'm going to redesign it. And I'm going to put in a Raspberry Pi 4. I might just put in a 4 gig. I might use it as an actual machine. Be kind of nice to have a second one somewhere. But, yeah, I kind of miss this guy, and I'd like to make a better one, but that was expensive. That entire thing, plus components inside, everything that it took to make that was like $400 and some, I think, or 380, something like that. It was pretty expensive. So it's not like I can just keep just doing it over and over. So all the electronics, everything works. I just have to buy 2 new nickel component pieces, similar to this guy right here. I'm specifically have these for another reason. So no, I'm not going to use those, even if I have 2 of them, which I do somewhere. They're in here. I know they are. And then attach that to a Raspberry Pi 4 and have my dual video out and everything, and it'd be a powerful workstation. But I want to make something a little bit better. I mean, I put a lot of work into this, but I want it to be better. And before I end up going here for the night completely, I'm going to go over a couple more things, but I do want to show you the progress that's been done on the original ANET AM8 that's over here. I put a lot of work into this, especially since the last time you guys saw it and I made a video. A year ago, feels like. Again, I'm sorry about that. It's been so long. I've just had so much to do. But yeah, so let me turn your attention. Actually, not just your attention. I'm going to turn the entire computer this way. All right. So this guy right here is actually an artillery AL4. This is what Tim from TH3D was using to make his EZ300s, the alphas, excuse me, was these guys. So they had an MKS Gen L in them, 2208s, two 2208s and two high-end A4988s. So X and Y were 2208, Z and E were A4988s. And I'm not going to get into the whole thing. He's going through a bunch of stuff right now as well, so his channel may be down for a while. It may be permanent. I'm not entirely sure right now, but I don't want to speculate on things that I personally don't know yet. All I know is he's having less to do with his company than he used to. So let's leave it at that for right now. But he had about 8 of these still left in his basement that were going to be sold. There was issues with someone putting them together that was working for him. I'm not going to get into details on that. That's not fair. But basically, he was trying to get rid of them, so I went ahead and bought them. I'm not going to go into how much all that was. But most of them worked. I've sold 3 of them so far. My dad has one, and I have all of the rest. And one of them was completely dead. Well, not completely dead, but it would not have worked. I couldn't fix it. Let's put it that way. So it is now in pieces as a donor to the rest of the printers. And here I have the bottom of one is going to go underneath one that's completely working, which is right here. And I'm going to put all the electronics like I did for my AM8 right here down underneath. So there's a lot of work that's going into that. And I have a RatRig V-Core 2.0 300 by 300 by 300 cube. It's a Core XY machine upstairs. I'm not going to try to haul that thing down here right now. Upstairs is an absolute mess. But that is basically done as well, except all the wires are hanging out. So it just looks like crap. I will get to it, and I will make a video of that because it is awesome as well. And it is running, all 4 drivers are FiSec, how the hell you say? I don't know, whatever. TMC 2209's version 2.1, I think. And they're all tuned, everything's good on them. It prints great. I just need to tidy things up. Okay, so the last thing I want to do here is I want to show you the this little machine right here. And if you have any questions, I will look back over here every so often and check. But I want to show you what's going on with this so you get an idea where things are, and then I'll make an official video on that. It might be coming this week. We'll have to see. I have finals right now, so I kind of have to get some studying in first, but if I get some time, I will try to make that as soon as I can. So I'm going to grab the camera. Don't get all camera and YouTube sick or whatever the hell they call that while I walk you over here. Because I have cheap Logitech webcam, C920, because that's how cheap I am. All right. And this is going to be interesting to do here. So we have the magnetic print surface with TH3D's EasyFlex build plate. This has a smooth PEI on the surface. Zero complaints. I did. You might be able to see this right there. Yeah, that right there. Little tiny thing where my probe failed. And the hot end just dug down into the thing. I was watching it, so I lifted it up. But that kind of bugs me now. So if I do a huge print, I have a defect in the surface. Bleh. Whatever. But other than that, this PEI sheet is absolutely amazing. Zero complaints. And all I ever have to do is wipe it. Which, by the way, I just use a rag like this. Just a cotton dish towel. And all I do is on my... Oh, look at this. I have a little extruder poop here. Check out the extruder poop. Hopefully you guys can still hear me all right. Turn the microphone around. TH3D's Easy Flow nozzle, which is a brass nozzle that's coated in something. That's all I ever have to wipe. I just double this up, and once it's warm, I just wipe the outside, and that's it. That is as dirty as that ever gets, which is great. It should never have to get any more dirty than that. I now printed front little covers here that just hide the front of the stepper motor, because I wanted this to be aesthetic, which means I wanted to have as few ugly components showing as possible, which is one reason that I did the drag chain back here for the wires for the heated bed, and the drag chain back here for the wires for the end stop and the x-axis, which I think actually worked out much better than I'd originally planned. Looking over here, oh, we've got 5 people on here. Well, I guess we had 5 people. As soon as I said something, now we have 3. I'm going to go ahead and scoot my computer a little closer because I need my... There we go. I need a little bit longer camera cable here. Try to show this off. Okay. So, back here we have the power box. So all I have to do to get power to this thing is to plug in a power cord, and it has a lit green. Yes, I know, it's part of the color theme. Power switch over here, and there you can see the, here's the drag chain. So it comes out, custom mount around the motor, up and around and down into the box. But through the box, it comes out down underneath here through this little strengthening plate, and that then goes underneath. And then back here, the drag chain is actually, I may not be able to get it under there, starts right here, runs up, and then comes back down to here. And the wires go through a little tunnel that's in this thing, down underneath, and under there to where all the electronics are. And yes, I'm still using the old generic pillow block pieces here, and I do have I guess Drylin bearings in those. I forget, SC8UU I think is the part number. God, I'm so out of practice with this, it's terrible. And they work really well. I added a little bit of a heat sink here to the extruder, which is a Titan extruder on this, and my little filter piece that sits on there. Like my spool mount. Yeah, this is like the greatest spool mount ever. Check this out. So I have a little drop pin, okay? And that goes on the front. And then this, it just mounts on. So if I need to put one under like this, drop in the retainer, and it's good to go. That's all it takes. And it's very free floating. And this will take slightly larger spool sizes as well. I use mostly inland PLA, so I think it's like 66 millimeter or whatever for the width. But I'll show you the underside here in a minute. I'll show you a couple other things here. Uh, Here we have the EZABL Pro. This is the 18 millimeter probe. I could have gotten smaller, but my mount was already designed for an 18 millimeter. Is what I had previously. So I just went ahead and kept going with this one. And it works very well. I have some ridiculously good probe repeatability numbers. 0.001 or less, sometimes even half of that. But yeah, so an E3D V6 hot end, Bowden. The tube is TH3D tough tube. I've got a little bit of crap here on it, I don't know why. And yes, Tim would be happy. I have a little bit of strain relief on my on my probe, so that this doesn't break. Upgraded to a 5015 fan, and this thing puts out a ton of air and a custom. This whole hot end here is all custom, but this piece here can actually be removed once the fan's taken out, and allows me to change the type of fan duct that goes on it without reprinting a whole new carriage, which is great. So here's another big one, and I'm going to recommend this to pretty much anybody. These are Delrin anti-backlash nuts. So normally you would find something that's either a brass one piece without a spring and cap or a brass with a spring and cap. The brass ones, metal on metal, you can imagine, is not maybe the greatest. It makes some noise. It's not a tight tolerance. It's not forgiving. It's non-conforming. It's whatever it's cut to is what it is. These, they're basically a plastic, much tighter tolerance, much smoother operation. And listen to this. Yeah, zero noise, zero movement. I love it. Okay, and inside of here, inside of my bushings on here, all three of these are also IGUS dryland bushings. The only ones that are not are right in here. These are the long SC, I don't know, SC20 UU, whatever the hell. The long extended metal ball bearing ones I put in here. I could have fit two dryland bearings, two here, two on the other end, but they didn't seem to stay in very well. And I really wasn't concerned about it because they don't move fast enough to make any difference. So I let that go. The other side, it's the same thing. Still have the original display. I hate the display. I'm going to fix that eventually. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this over real quick and then show you the underside, because a lot of people have been asking about it. And it is a sight to behold, I'm just saying. Okay. So here is my underside. Well, not my underside, it's my printer's underside, but sure, same diff, right? All right. Grab my mic over here. Okay, so what we have right there is the Raspberry Pi 4. Now, I used to have a 3B Plus in here. This is now a 4 with, I believe, 2 gigs of RAM. And it is plenty. It's running a build of Octoprint that is 0.18. So it was still, it's not an official build, it's still a test build, technically. But in all honesty, it's working flawlessly. I'm not gonna lie, it works great. And as you can see here, this is my stock ANET board. You can see the horrible connection style here. 60 millimeter fan there, and a 40 millimeter fan on the Raspberry Pi. I have 2 MOSFETs, one for hot end, one for heated bed. Not really necessary to have 2. A lot of people say it's kind of stupid and it makes things worse. In all honesty, it works just fine. I haven't noticed any difference. My temperature fluctuations are dialed in. PID tuning is spot on. There's no issue with having a MOSFET for both of them. In fact, I would go ahead and do it just to be safe, especially seeing it's an ANET board. And as tight as this wiring is, I also have to consider that if I'm going to replace this with an SKR 1.3, which I do have a spare sitting around here somewhere, that I will probably have to redo the wiring, because a lot of this wiring is relatively tight. So some of the locations of those components are no longer going to reach. So it's going to be a huge undertaking, but I need another printer to work in the meantime. And for some reason, my little thing here just quit on me. Give me a second, let me figure out what's going on here. Make sure everything is still going here. Okay. That was weird. Don't know why that happened. See, there's the piece for the EZABL probe. There's my power supply with a little bit of a fan redirect. I don't know if that's actually had any effect on lowering the volume of the fan for the power supply. I will need to make some more tests. If it's not doing anything, I'm just going to take it off. It was an idea. I didn't get around to testing it yet. We'll figure it out. As you can see under here, that is why I have those front covers on. Was just to hide the stepper, and there's still plenty of room. It still gets air, so it's not going to overheat or anything. And that is my power supply, or my power input here. Wires just come in and they go straight in. You can see right there. Go straight on into the power supply where they need to go, as short and sweet as possible. And a short shielded USB cable to go from the Pi to the ANET mainboard. And since everything runs off the Pi, it probably won't show it, but there is no SD card in the mainboard for the ANET. Everything is handled by the Pi itself. So one thing I need to finish now is I want to take this guy, the Raspberry Pi camera, and actually make a mount that will go on that is more or less permanent. That's the idea so far. Bring this back around here. And now my printer looks stupid sitting over there all weird and propped up like that. Give me a second, let me put that back down. Okay. And one other thing to note, I'll just show you here. This is a great idea, by the way. If you need to remote control a printer to turn it on and off, especially if you set up like no IP access or something like that, is to get a smart outlet. So you can either turn this on manually by pressing the button here. Oh. The initial demonstration did not go as planned. So if you push this button here, like this, that will turn on. And of course, you can control this remotely from your phone. If I press it again, and it powers off. So that allows me to completely control the printer whenever I am not home. And I do a lot. So I actually started a print this morning, had to go out of town with my girlfriend and her mom. Went to a family member's birthday party about an hour and a half away, left it print, and when I got I checked the camera again because I had my webcam set up. Checked that the print was finished rather than letting it sit idle and constantly run. I just went into my Casa app, powered off that specific outlet, printer's off, done. And Octopi really doesn't care. It doesn't mind. So I am trying to think if there is anything else that I'm working on. No. No, there is not. I have some other designs I am trying to get finished. I have a lot of stuff started, and you can laugh at me if you want to. Tinkercad. It is great. I don't care. It does everything I need, and it's basic. I'm too stupid to use Fusion 360. I'm just saying. But yeah, so I'm gonna make a video on this guy when I get my actual camera charged up, and I get a little bit more free time. It's gonna take all of an afternoon, I think. I'm going to remake my Raspberry Pi desktop. That should be another cool video. I need to finish my Core XY RatRig vCore 2.0. That'll be a video somehow. And then taking for all of the rest, I think there's 4 of the Artillery AL4/TH3D Alpha EZ300s that I have sitting upstairs in boxes that I can finish putting together, tune, customize, whatever. But this one is ready to go. One is a donor, and what I do with that will probably turn into another video. I am going to hint that on that one, I'm going to go nuts. I was considering making water cooling a part of it, not for the hot end. I'm not printing ABS or anything special like that. Everything I do is in PLA. But I was thinking of making water cooling to cool off the components for not just the Raspberry Pi, like I did for my Raspberry Pi desktop, but also for the main board, for the SKR 1.4 Turbo. And if I can figure out how to do it, I will see, this is a huge if, water cool each of these stepper drivers. Now come on, you gotta admit that's pretty sweet, okay? Not that they don't have plenty good if you put a heatsink on them and a fan. I know plenty of heat gets dissipated as long as you can feed it fresh air. I get it. But this is a why the hell not kind of thing. If I'm gonna buy the parts and I want to go extreme, that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm not gonna give away too much about it. I've already got some of the designs down. And I am looking at reservoirs and temperature adapters, light rings, and some other things that I'm going to have to put into this. But basically, it's going to be turning that printer and my next AM8, which I'm working with RatRig on, or the VCast, by the way. Everybody should go check out RatRig's new VCast. Go to ratrig.com. Their VCast has IDEX support and everything. So it's got dual independent print heads on the same gantry. So you can print two pieces side by side at the exact same time. So you get an exact duplicate all at once. So technically you're printing twice as fast. Or you can print 2 colors while having 2 separate print heads. So you don't have to constantly do the retract and everything out of a single print head. You can have 2, so you print with one, park it, bring in the second one, do a print, park it, bring in the original, keep going. You see what I'm saying? So much easier and so much faster. There's less hassle, and you don't have such a big purge tower, a prime tower, purge tower, whatever you want to call it. You don't have one of those. If anything, it's a very small amount, and you could make a tiny little thing that runs up, but you don't have to have this huge block. Because you're not purging, hundreds of millimeters of filament trying to get it in and out of the single hot end. I'm not sure. It's probably not hundreds. 50 to 100, I would guess. I don't have one, so but yeah, logical idea. So yeah, those are the things that I am looking to work on. Looks like I had some of you here for a little while. That's fine. Didn't expect you guys to stay. Anybody can watch this stuff later. If you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe. We are now up to almost 1,700 subscribers. I have noticed, by the way, I've been keeping track, that even during my time off, these last 7 months, subscriber count has been going up. That is amazing. I thank you guys so much for that. For a while there, I was trying to figure out exactly why someone would subscribe to someone who hasn't put a video out in months, but I thank you nonetheless. I am going to try to get back into this. And if you guys have suggestions for a video, I cannot spend a whole lot of money on parts. I just don't have the time and money to be throwing at new things like that. My eBay sales are where I'm getting the majority of my money. The rest is somewhat coming from family, and that all has to go into schooling. That's my number one thing right now. Schooling takes precedence over anything, including my channel. And then when I'm done with that, which should be later in 2021, September, if everything goes according to plan, I will be moving to Florida to start a job, and I will have a wee bit of more free time. We will see about that. But I am still going to try to get stuff out to you guys as much as I can. I need to get back into this. As soon as I finish unpacking, I've got a bunch of crap sitting out. I just moved some stuff out so it wasn't on video. And sometime in July, I'm guessing mid to late July, I have a very cool product that I backed on Kickstarter that is supposed to be shipping to me. Hopefully it arrives in the time frame they were saying, and it is. I really don't want to give this away. Need it to be a surprise. It may be an integral part of my channel. So let's just say I might have a companion. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys will find out when the time comes. I'm just saying I'm super excited. All right. It might look stupid at first, but I think it's going to be very cool. So we'll get to that when it comes. So with that, I am probably going to call this a night. I'm getting a little bit tired, and I don't want to keep yawning on camera. Don't yawn. With that, guys, have a good night. Thanks for subscribing. Like, share, and of course, subscribe again. Yada, yada, that whole thing. I'm going to work on an outro. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. I will see you again in the next video.